Charles Kuralt is on the road again tonight, and he has a report from Covina, California about a true pioneer on the road.
These young people think that they get a little smarty cat, you know, and they sneak in because they think it'll frighten somebody. Well, that's not my idea of good driving. They may be fast, but sooner or later they're going to catch it.
I went driving the other day with Alice Hiler Ramsey, who is 90. Mrs. Ramsey has fixed opinions about driving. She ought to. She has been driving for 70 years. In 1909, at the age of 22, with a certain determination shining in her eyes, Alice Hiler Ramsey became the first woman to drive a car across this country. She left New York's Broadway at the wheel of a Maxwell with 3 women passengers, and 2 months later, after a trip of 3,800 miles on farm roads, through plowed fields, and along Indian trails, she drove into San Francisco. The San Bernardino Freeway holds no terrors for a woman like that. I have always found driving across this country to be an adventure. Alice Hiler Ramsey did it when it was an adventure. How did you find your way?
Well, we had to find our way mostly by the telephone poles.
The telephone poles?
Yes, they had those all the way across the country, crude and not very tall, and we could usually suppose that the ones with the more wires went to the larger town. We thought that was good common sense. Once or twice we got mistaken.
In 1909, when Alice Hiler Ramsey drove across America, this was as good as highways got. This was in Illinois. Not all the roads were quite as good. Transcontinental motoring in 1909 required you to open and close a good many pasture gates. And if you got stuck in the mud in Nebraska, you might hope for some friendly well diggers to come along in a horse-drawn cart to give you a hand. If you had a flat tire, or what was just as likely a broken axle, you had to know how to fix it. Alice Ramsey knew how. You must have been a pretty good mechanic yourself.
Well, for a girl, yes.
There you were, a young woman out in the automotive wilderness. Weren't you frightened sometimes?
Well, I can only think of one time when we were a little bit scared. We rounded a little hill, and off to the right were a group of Indians riding bareback. With drawn bows and arrows, great big bows and arrows. But all of a sudden they wheeled to the left and came right toward us. And then my heart sort of went down in the bottom of the car, I think. And finally in front of us across the road jumped a great big jackrabbit. And they were hunting this poor jackrabbit with the bow and arrow. And they crossed the road ahead of us nonchalantly and paid no attention to us at all.
As surely as those earlier women who drove wagons down the Oregon Trail, Alice Hiler Ramsey was a pioneer. Alice Hiler Ramsey wanted to drive a car, and did, and still does. She drives across the country most every summer. She says there's nothing to it anymore. Charles Kuralt, CBS News, on the road in Covina, California.
That's the news this Friday night. I'm Roger Mudd, CBS News. Good night.